This is Midori, and she has just turned 1 year old. In the 12 months of Midori being on this planet with us, we have experienced undescribable amounts of joy with her. She is affectionate, loving, curious, silly, insane, wanted in multiple countries for international war crimes, and she's even a celebrity on my streams. Belted me on Twitch, check the link in the description. Now, no bias at all, I think she is the perfect cat. She is super affectionate when she wants to be, super silly when she wants to be, and always wants to be played with. However, the past few months, Midori has seemed a bit lonely. So I guess there's only one thing for it. Huh? Let's get her a friend! Straight off the bat, I don't want anyone to think that we just jumped into this completely blind after thinking Midori is a bit lonely, so we're going to get another cat. We did our research and recommend that anyone else that's getting another cat that they do their research, make sure that they can handle it both spaciously and financially before you get into it. Recommend Jackson Galaxy. It's absolutely fantastic. Watch all of their videos. Love you, Jackson. Thank you. Love you, love you, love you, love you. Now, we were pretty lucky. When we were doing all of this research, we actually found out that Midori's mother had another litter with the exact same dad, the exact same parents, so the cat we'd be getting would be Midori's blood sibling. And look, I get it. You should try to adopt where possible. However, due to our living situation, all of the adoption centres that had cats round about us, they all had to be cats that had outdoor access, and just we couldn't provide that. So we went with the same breeder that we got Midori from, and in the end, it turns out they're going to be siblings, blood siblings, which is great. They're going to be like family members. They're going to be super sweet. So we spent the week running up to getting the kitten, making sure that the flat was ready for them. So after cleaning, we made sure we had the dry food, the wet food, and delicious treats for the cat. And when getting a new cat, you need to give them a home-based type place, so unfortunately for Midori, yeah, she had to go. Michael, don't leave me here. Apart from a few other small things around the flat, we were pretty much ready, so all we had to do was wait for...
You know something's up, don't you? It's not just that you haven't got food.
As soon as the breeder dropped off the kitten, Midori was instantly interested in what was going on. As for the kitten, yeah, not really vibing with the place straight off the bat. However, we gave him some time alone and we came back later on the day and he seemed to be doing much better. He was playing with us, purring, and actually the most shocking thing, he was letting us pet him. When we first got Midori, Midori would not let us anywhere near her with our hands. She'd be happy to play, run about, but the minute you go near her with your hands, nah, goodbye, I'm out of here. So the fact he was letting us pet him straight away was a really good sign. Now up to this point, I've been referring to this cat as... But let me properly introduce him. This is Mizo, and he is Midori's brother. Mizo was settling in just fine on the first day, so much so that we actually decided that we'd get Midori and Mizo to meet each other. Now, Midori has met other cats in the past, to varying levels of success. So we weren't too sure what to expect from this first meeting.
She's the boy.
Huge.
The next morning rolled around pretty quick. Mizo was fairly silent throughout the night, we didn't hear much of him. However, in the morning, he was right at the door, meowing the door down. He wanted to get out and explore. Now, general rule of thumb when it comes to cats is that some of them take days to get used to the flats or homes, some take months, and some can even take years to get used to a new environment. Now, Midori took about a week to get used to this flat, so we weren't sure what it was going to be like for Mizo. However, as mentioned before, Mizo was at the door and ready to go and explore. So the idea was we let Mizo explore the rest of the flat, and while that happens, we let Midori just chill in the room that Mizo was staying in to get his scent, to get used to him. And boy, did Mizo get used to the flat very quickly. Mizo was out and about, walking through the halls, going to the bathrooms, going to our living room, our kitchen, our hallway. He wanted to see and smell everything. He was finding hiding spaces, which is really good, apart from this one space underneath the sofa, which is very scary because sometimes he goes under there and we have to check before we recline our sofa.
Ah, hello, Gordon Free.
After Mizo had a few hours to explore, we opened up the door to Midori again, and we thought we'd see how they get along today after having more of a smell of each other. And to our surprise, they were actually getting closer than we could have ever imagined, especially for the second day. They were sniffing each other, they were kind of sussing each other out, and most of the time, Midori just seemed more curious about this new cat rather than defensive. That was the case until...
Oh yes, they... Whoa! Oh yes. Whoa! Midori!
Now, I know it looks bad, but I will say this is the only time we've seen that happen throughout the whole day. Now, I want to say, we kept close monitor on these guys for the whole day, making sure they were both in our eye line, making sure they weren't attacking each other. And apart from that one incident, they were doing pretty well, even lying next to each other at points in this day. And we're super proud with how they reacted, because we had a lot of our friends coming over on that day, just to see the kitten, see what's going on, a lot of new smells and sounds going on. And Mizo was actually so comfortable in the flat that he ended up starting sleeping next to us. So we were feeling very hopeful for what the next few days held up. Day number 3 seen a lot of milestones and positive signs again. For the first time, we've seen Mizo actually eat food in front of me, both the dry food and the wet food, which again shows how comfortable he is in his flat by now. He was drinking water, he was exploring even more, he was sleeping while I'm editing, and he even started doing this thing where he starts climbing on my shoulders, which was super cute since I've never seen Midori do that before. This day was more or less the same, of the two cats kind of just sussing each other out, not really attacking each other, kind of just watching each other from afar, with the occasional wrestles. However, Midori doesn't quite understand her sheer size compared to this kitten. He did very well, and again in the evening we just played with the two of them at the same time. Just did a lot of like positive reinforcement stuff. This is alongside doing things such as feeding them treats at the same time, feeding them food at the same time, and yeah, things are looking really great. One last thing to mention though is the fact that we started to notice that Midori loves eating Mizo's kitten food, and Mizo loves eating Midori's adult food. Now, there's a reason why there is adult food and kitten food, and it's because cats have very sensitive stomachs. We knew this was going to be an issue going forward, but it was the end of the day. We decided just to separate them again and see what happened in the next day. Originally, I'd planned to split this video up into 7 different mini sections, each section representing a day of the first week of the two cats being introduced to each other. Not many more new things happened over the next few days anyway. We noticed that a lot of the good things just became even better, and some of the bad things just continued to persist. Mizo continued to get used to the flat, finding hiding spots that we didn't even know about. Midori and Mizo would play fight more, but this time round it was much more even because Midori wasn't using her full strength. They continue chasing each other around the flat. Occasionally we've seen them cuddle, and even editing this now a month afterwards, they have been cuddling more and more often, even seeing them groom each other from time to time, which is even more promising, and that will only improve over the year. The food situation's still the same. If we don't keep a close eye on them, they will munch each other's food. We're just hoping that when Mizo becomes more of an adult cat and moves over to the adult food, that will mitigate that issue, because they'll be eating the same food, they won't have to eat each other's. I think what really surprised us the most was how fast things smoothed out between them. I wasn't really expecting an overnight friendship or anything, or them to be bonded from the get-go, but I was definitely expecting a much more drawn-out process. Maybe a week of them getting used to each other's scents, maybe a month of seeing each other under close supervision, and then maybe after that they'd get to hang out together without us watching. But it only took about a week before we were comfortable even leaving the flat with the two of them just having access to each other. Now, online it says that them being siblings will not contribute to how quickly they get along. However, it is my headcanon that because they are siblings from the same parents, even though they didn't instantly recognise each other, I think there was an underlying familiarity that kicked in once they got past those few cautious, kind of curious days. You could almost see them going, okay, like, not too bad, and slowly letting their guard down over time, which was really sweet to see. Another big thing that I noticed was how much happier our older cat is now. She's much more playful, more confident, and just seems happier. Having a little cat gave something to chase, someone to boss around a bit, and although at times she pretends that she's not that bothered about him, I think she's secretly very, very happy to have him around, especially in days that we're busy. For us, the whole vibe of the house has changed around in probably one of the best ways possible. There's definitely more energy around. Mizo keeps us on our toes a lot. Any weird noise halfway down our hallway we're instantly there to check out. He's definitely more mischievous, but it's definitely the good kind of chaos. In the end, we are so happy that we got another cat. We knew that the connection wouldn't be instant, but the way their bond grew faster than we ever imagined has been such a happy surprise. They've made each other better, and they've made our lives better too. And yeah, we're just so happy to have them. So that's been our experience introducing our cat to a new kitten. And before I end the video, I just want to talk for a second about the whole question of should I get another cat? Now, I'm not here to convince anyone that every cat needs a buddy, because that's simply not true. Some cats are totally happy being by themselves and the owner being their only companion. But if you have been thinking about getting a second cat, and your home life, your schedule, and your cat's personality could work with it, it might be something worth considering. For us, bringing another cat home ended up being such a good choice. It wasn't a perfect friendship instantly, it wasn't a magical movie moment, but it felt right for what we wanted. And seeing Midori much more happier, more playful, much more fulfilled made the whole process worth it. It changed the whole vibe of our flat in the best possible way. But it really comes down to knowing your cat and knowing your limits. Take your time, think it through, and if it feels like the right decision, it can be an amazing experience. Anyway, that's all from me. If you liked this video or found it helpful, feel free to hit the like button, subscribe, or leave a comment since it helps me in the algorithm. I'd love to hear about your experiences with introducing pets or getting a second cat. Thank you all so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!